Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is for the movie called Angel Has Fallen. This is a 2019 film. It is rated R. It runs 2 hours and 1 minute, and it stars the likes of Gerard Butler, Frederick Schmidt, Danny Houston, Rochi Williams, Piper Perabo, Harry Didson, Linda John Pierre, Lance Reddick, Ori Pfeffer, and Morgan Freeman among others, large cast. The story is that Mike Banning is framed for the attempted assassination of the president and must evade his own agency and the FBI as he tries to uncover the real threat. This is Angel Has Fallen. Well, did you like the other two movies of this series? This is now a trilogy. I've got to say personally that I think the best movie in the series is London Has Fallen. I've always liked that movie. When I watched it in real time in theater back in the day, I really liked it. I thought it was a cool concept to bring it across sea. The way they handled it and the action that was in that movie was a little bit more exciting. And I felt like this movie took a real large step back, and I just don't know why they handled it the way they did. But in the end of things, I'll kind of state that at the end of the video. But I think that this is one of the more bland movies that they could have made for the third one to wrap up this trilogy. Um, I'll give props to a couple people. Gerard Butler, I think, is fine. He's always been fine. I mean, there's been maybe a couple movies here and there that I have really enjoyed of his, but otherwise, he's just a fine person. He makes very bland movies. He's a bland actor. He's a very generic action hero. I just don't know. I've never really connected with him. I've never been a huge mega fan of his, and but I will give him props in this movie. I thought he was one of the better parts of it. He was handling his, personality and being able to handle all that was thrown at him and everything. So I do think that he connected the different parts of this movie very well. And his wife Piper, she's a very good actress. I've always kind of enjoyed her and her down to earthness, and I think that's a great quality to bring to a movie. This one, obviously, she's a mother, and she just plays that role very well. And Mike's father in this movie, he was probably one of the better parts of it, with some of the better action scenes, some of the more intriguing commentary, the dialogue came from him. And everybody else in this movie just kind of, was going through the motions while Mike's father was able to actually, add some depth to this movie that was otherwise very just bland. So I'm going to start from the beginning here. The first half hour, if you ever saw a trailer for this movie, that's the first half hour. So I kind of checked out. I was kind of having dinner and kind of having some drinks and checking my cell phone and for the first half hour, because we all know what was coming at the half hour mark was this drone attack that was coming, and it's like all they based the trailer on was this drone attack because that's what sets up the movie. So why it's half an hour in, I don't really know. Just kind of makes the first half hour, just kind of irrelevant, and that's how I treated it when I sat down to watch it here all these months later. Did premiere here on Netflix, and I was happy to be able to see it on Netflix, because I just got Netflix at the beginning of this year. So everything that's coming out now that is trying to get some exposure because the theaters are closed. Now it's able to watch movies like Angel Has Fallen, and soon I'll be able to watch The Killing of a Sacred Deer, and there's some other movie services and stuff also out there. So don't feel like you have to watch the same old thing. There are some movies coming out like this and on Netflix and stuff that you can enjoy yourself with. But I'm hoping to make a video about that here in the next day or so. So we'll get to that later. But so, anyways, the half hour, that was the really measuring stick of this movie. I was able to check out for the first half hour, just kind of listen and just be like, yeah, we know what's coming. So after the half hour mark, there's still an hour and a half left of this movie. And that's where it got its chance to make an impression on me and do something. So I paid attention. I was a lot more alert after the half hour mark, after the drone attack. And like I said, Gerard Butler, played his character well. Everybody around him in the situation, was just the most generic bad guys, the most generic story, the most generic action like I've ever seen. I really was thinking the whole time I was watching this is like the example of a mediocre movie. This is, if you're trying to come up with a very mediocre movie that you've seen before, this is it. Just going forward. Bad guy wants to push another person out of the way to get what they want. This other company is, contracting out. The guy's on the run, but then as soon as he finds someone he can trust, then everything's fine. It's just, kind of a really laughable hour and a half and everything. So, um, we're just going to say that I think the best part of this movie is really after the half hour mark because that's when Mike Banning is on the run and that's when he's trying to do things and, fight off guys and he realizes he's, in a corner and he has to fight his way out. And so that's the most intriguing part of this is the chase. And as soon as he is able to rectify his situation. I won't give away how because I want something to be of intrigue in this movie. And the way he rectifies things is at least, kind of surprising. So, so we're just going to say the middle part of this movie is the best part. The ending is very predictable, just kind of, just obvious that, it's going to go that way. I was kind of hoping they would end things a little differently, but it's a nice feeling. It gives you a little sense of closure that, that all of this questioning and all of this uncertainty is kind of over with, and that three movies is enough. And they're going to leave it in a place where you can feel good that you've watched all three of these movies and you can move on with your life knowing that, that Mike Banning is going to be fine and, or not, whatever, and you can kind of have your own interpretation of that. But there's a scene towards the end. I just have to say this because it's just what it is. It's a scene towards the end and it's laughable. There are two lines in a row, sort of close to each other, because there's not much dialogue. There's a lot of people trying to shoot each other in this movie. These two lines take close parameter to each other. Mike, Gerard Butler, says, don't try and let him flag you or flank you. Don't try and let him flank you. And he goes off and does his thing, on his own. And of course, he's not a team player. And the next line that we hear is, okay, go flank him. And I just thought that was so funny. I just thought that is the thing to say about this movie is that, people are trying to do things. People are trying to say things. People have a direction that they want to go. People have their secret plans and all this other stuff that's all going on at the same time. But it still has this feeling of, just obvious thing to say, like, okay, don't try and let them flank you. Okay, we're going to try and flank them. And that's just the feeling of this movie, is that it's very generic. It's very straightforward. It's not boring by any means because there's these big explosions and everything. And there's lots of actions and lots of shooting and some cold-blooded killings, within 2 feet of each other to the head. I mean, there's some good stuff in this, and so I can understand people enjoying it. And I wasn't bored by any matter of the sense, but I just wasn't impressed. And I just thought it was very mediocre. I thought it was very middle down the road. And I just can't, understand why anybody would have seen this in theater other than the fact that it was the third movie and maybe they were really excited for it. But I've never been excited for it. I just knew I was going to watch it eventually. So I'm glad I've seen it. I'm glad it's over. It's not the best movie in the trilogy, and I really am an advocate for London Has Fallen being the best. So if you want to give that a watch, maybe that'll if you've never seen any of the three, maybe you want to give London Has Fallen a chance, see if you like this kind of action. And then if you do, maybe you can watch all three in a row or something. But I can't, suggest this movie to anybody. I can understand people watching it on Netflix because it's new, it's something different, and I'll give London, I'll give an Angel Has Fallen, I will give a C, and just can't advise watching it other than we have nothing else to watch, and I'm not an advocate of that either because I've had lots to watch, and this was on my list for a while. I'm glad I got it watched, and I'll give it a C. So thank you guys so much. My name is Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And enjoy your movies so much. Thank you so much. In the coming days, I'm hoping to make a list of other things to watch, like suggestions. I've been trying to get together my list for that. I really wish Netflix had a feature on it that showed you what you've been watching. I really am kind of missing on that. But I'm trying to go back and remember the things that I've watched that I've liked and stuff because I wasn't writing them down. And I just assumed, being new to Netflix, that they would have some kind of history and you could go back and look upon. But I guess I missed out on that. So I have some other surprise things to tell you about. And just thank you so much for everything. I hope all of you are staying safe. I hope everybody is staying home if you need to. If you're working, thank you. But during this time of Easter and Good Friday and everything coming up, I think it's going to be one of the hardest parts of our country's history. So please just stay safe. Enjoy your movies. Stay inside. Watch some stuff. And thanks for watching my videos. And we're going to make it through this time together. Thank you so much. See you guys next time.